That's not letting your friends have this. Just for the record.
Maybe I don't want you to have it.
Exactly, which is my point. It's my issue with you isn't on your opinion on Predator. It's I think it's the contrarian stance that you're determined to take and
No,
take
it's not a
away things that
contrarian.
people love.
It's not a contrarian stance when you simply don't like a thing as much as the next person.
I don't like
If we
pineapple
did
pizza. That doesn't mean nobody else can have a slice.
more for everybody else, right? That's the way I feel about the Predator.
That's not what you posted. What you posted was this was trash, and I don't know that it was ever any good.
I don't think I ever called it trash.
You were on your Gail Simone energy.
Damn, when did Predator ever save your family, Omar? Damn.
He did come and save my family.
When did he come in and save your orphanage?
He did save my orphanage. That was Predator 2. Welcome back to the Omar the Barbarian podcast, where we talk about what is best in life. Today we are talking Predator, the 1987 film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Bill Duke, and Jesse Ventura. But before we get into that, or why we are talking about a film that is over 30 years old, I want to acknowledge my barbarous comrades and our very special guest. As always, I have the top men in the building. Chris James Scott, the only man with 3 first names that I trust. Chris is the creator of Two-Ton Rock God and multiple-time art fight champion. The man is basically the Ric Flair of art fight. Former bookseller and comic industry vet. The other top man. Yeah, veteran, sir. Yes. Other top man. And the fact that Devon has never seen the Indiana Jones movies, and yet as part of a faction I dubbed the Top Men, which is an Indiana Jones reference, is absolutely perfect. Devon Sanders, comic industry veteran, bleeding cool columnist, creator of the Seven Hells blog, author of some of the best comic book articles I have ever read, frankly. Far and away one of the best writers whose work I have ever had the honor of reading. And I've known this man a long time. Also former bookseller. He is the truth when he gets a pen in his hand. And I say that without any qualifiers. The man is a beast. And that brings me to our special guest, the one and only Blake Northcott in the building. Best-selling author, Arena Mode versus Reality, the North Valley Grimoire, north of 250,000 copies sold. I can't think of 250,000 of anything that I have done. Arena Mode was the most backed and most funded Kickstarter ever in Canada. And that was before the North Valley Grimoire, Blake's magical spy thriller, unseated it to become the most backed and most funded Kickstarter series ever in Canada. She started writing comics with Mark Millar. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Jupiter's Legacy, Kick-Ass, Kingsman, The Secret Service.
Some guy.
Some dude. All right. She wrote Fathom for Aspen Comics, Vampirella for Dynamite Comics. Oh, and then last summer, she wrote 2 issues of this little-known book called Catwoman for this little-known company called DC Comics. Nothing special. And those sold so well, they had to reprint them almost immediately, and I couldn't get physical copies of them. I've only got digital copies. So welcome to everybody.
Yay.
Yes.
Woo-hoo. Thank you for that. That was incredible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so why are we here, y'all? We're talking about Predator because my distinguished colleague and my lifelong friend, Devon Sanders, posted the hottest of hot takes on Facebook, claiming that Predator was trash, said it was probably never any good. And this led to the expected backlash, and here we are. So this is how I would like us to proceed with your collective permission. I'm going to have us go around the horn and talk about Predator. I would like to hear your personal experience with it. The first time you saw it, your impressions, what made you want to see it? When did you fall in love with it or not? And what about it do you love, hate, and why? I'm going to start with you, Mr. Chris Scott. Please, from your heart, sir?
Well, I had my thoughts written down. I'm terrible at this. Oh no. Stalling. 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 All right, so we're gonna do it live. So I think the first time I saw Predator would have to have been like 5 or 6, which I know how that sounds, but we used to not care about the things that our kids watch because we would tell our kids, "Hey, don't do that shit outside, or I'll smack you in the head." And that's how my mom carried herself, and that's how we went along with it. Yeah, as a kid seeing Predator, it was amazing. It was like, yay! Oh man, they're killing that jungle. Obviously the sort of like the biggest hurdle about Predator happens about like 5 minutes in. Obviously wasn't like, it was Jesse Ventura's dialogue. I ain't repeating it, but sexual Tyrannosaurus, all that. Obviously that went over my head. I'm here for the guns and big, like, burly wrestler dudes fighting this space hunter in the jungle. And it's awesome. It's the best. And then as you get older, you look at all the shit that John McTiernan did, like, with the filming of that movie, and how just the efficiency of storytelling to get us as familiar as we can be with our crew of characters that are going to quickly become fodder for the Predator as quickly as possible. Like, we know all of these people, like, halfway based on the archetypes established by just popular media at the time and all the tropes that go along with that, but also through the interactions between the characters, it lets you know which one is who, what their specialties are. My favorite one is they're on the chopper, and what's his name throws like a ball or something at Shane Black's character, who's reading a comic book, and you think that he's not paying attention, but reflexes just up like that. And it's like, that little playful interaction shows you that, like, oh, all these dudes are just on top of their game. There's not a weak link. And I guess we could just keep going from there.
All right. Blake.
Yeah, that was great. I was really enthralled with your little take there. And I think you're right about that episode where he threw the ball. It was showing their reflexes and how they're all so, like, part of this team, this unit. But I think Omar knows I'm a huge Predator super fan for a couple of reasons. First of all, I have to say I'm half Slovakian, and my dad basically has the same accent as Arnold Schwarzenegger. So this helped me relate to the character right there. I feel like, okay, I can understand what this guy's saying because it sounds exactly like my dad. But Predator is something I didn't really get into until it had already been out for a while. And I think my first viewing, I'm sort of ashamed to say this, but I think it was on like DVD. I was a little bit older when I saw it. But the movie is really emblematic, I think, of everything 80s, with like, well, I love here the bulging muscles, they have the guns, the explosions, all of that. But it really did so much more than that. And I think it really kind of it subverted everything about the 80s while it was still right in the middle of that era, So we can get into that a little bit more later on, but I really think that's one of the things that was sort of like it was a game changer type of film. It was like an event movie. And people have been trying to copy it. I mean, ever since. I don't really think anyone has succeeded at that level. But as an example, so right now I was saying everything right now is about subversion, taking a genre or a character, and you kind of change it so expectations are all flipped upside down, right? And usually this is done, decades with reflection, kind of like what you said John McTiernan did was create this meta commentary on the 80s action movies. And he did it in the middle of the era without anyone kind of realizing what's going on. And I think that is so indicative of one of the great elements of this movie. Now, another thing is that I feel like, I don't know if anyone else can agree with me here, but I feel like Predator is almost two different movies at once, because the first act is really very action movie, 80s action flick, right? muscular men with the guns, destroying their enemies, that whole type of movie. And we basically get to just sit back and applaud while, your hero blows shit up. That's fun. But then we get to the one-liner when Dutch throws a knife at one of the bad guys and says, "Stick around." And I really feel like then the entire movie kind of stops being that classic, 80s action movie, and it breaks into the second act. And that's when we get, after that big shootout, there's this moment I remember when the Predator is watching them from the trees, and Dylan has like that scorpion thing on his back, and Mac makes him turn around and he stabs it. And that was kind of like, I think, a metaphor for like, this is the last sort of easy kill that Dutch's team is going to have. And at that moment, I really felt like the movie changes into a completely different genre for me. And it's no longer just like, let's applaud these bad guys like blowing shit up. It's, you're suddenly watching this survival horror movie. And you don't even know if these heroes are going to live or die. You really don't know. And that's what I liked about it so much. That's what I gravitated toward. The ending there was really survival horror. And that's one of the things I love about it. Yeah.
That
Going
was perfect.
deep.
Yeah, that's you went deep out the chute. And Chris, it kind of reminds me of something that you made that same point when we were sort of discussing it through Facebook Messenger about how it's goes from that to survival horror as well. And I had never really thought about that. But yeah, that's that's the type of thing that I think you can appreciate when you see it when you're a little bit older and can understand, we've had some years to kind of say, okay, we know the 80s was this thing, but you're right, for it to be done in the midst of an era that was going on. It's I know we've done a lot of comparisons to Prince in other episodes, but the brilliance to me of that, and now just to make a comparison there, the beauty of Prince's thing is like we watched an era take shape as it happened. And that to me is the beauty of 80s Prince. And so this is very similar in that sense. For me, I'm going somewhere with that, Chris. I see your expressions. It's an era as it happens. It's like the commentary on it, that piece. So for me, and just so that, there might be somebody listening to this who is like, I've never seen Predator. I don't know what it is. So I went and I looked up the overview of it, and this is what is said about it. Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is a soldier of fortune, and he's hired by the U.S. government to secretly rescue a group of politicians trapped in Guatemala. But when Dutch and his team, which includes weapons expert Blaine, who is Jesse Ventura, and CIA agent Carl Weathers, when they land in Central America, something is gravely wrong. After finding a string of dead bodies, the crew discovers that they are being hunted by a brutal creature with superhuman strength and the ability to disappear into its surroundings. So for those of you that have not had the pleasure of watching Predator, that is the synopsis that you will find if you look it up online. I actually saw this. I'm old enough that I saw this in the theater. And I saw this with my cousin and my uncle. And the first time I saw it, I hated it. And I'll tell you why.
You're stupid.
No, I was not stupid. I had a poor viewing experience because of the company I was with. So shout out to my cousin who ruined it. And shout out to my late uncle, phenomenal bass player Norman Durham, who also ruined it. Unc, I love you, I miss you, but you ruined Predator for me. So this is
you're not a super villain. How are you not a super villain?
Right? Exactly, because Devon, you know all my supervillain stories, all my origin stories. So this was back when you had limited options on TV. All right, so I hadn't even heard of Predator. I didn't know what it was. And at this time, I'm 15 maybe. And, somewhere between, not doing the math, but teenager. And I grew up at this point in time, my parents had been divorced and had not remarried yet. And so the siblings I would get later in life had not come. So I'm still on that only child energy. So as an only child, if I went to the movies and I asked for popcorn and a drink, it was mine. I didn't have to share. So I show up and I say to my uncle, "Hey, can I have popcorn and a drink?" Yeah. He gets it for me. And we get in the theater and he and my cousins take it from me and they start eating it. And I'm like, I thought this was mine. And they laughed at me. And they were like, he thought all this was for him. And that set the tone for me for the rest of the movie. I was in my feelings the remainder of the time. So I'm like, now I want to go home. I'm mad. I'm just over some popcorn and a drink. And
so you turn into fucking Syndrome from The Incredibles?
Yes. From basically this. Can I tell my story, Chris? Can I tell my story? Thank you. So that was what set the tone for me for that. And I walked away thinking, well, that movie wasn't good because of that experience. So years later, I rewatched it, bits and pieces. You might see it here on HBO. You might see it on this or that. And I never really saw the whole thing. I would see portions because it was a trigger from that time. My uncle and my cousin took my popcorn and drink. And then, but now I'm older and you're in this space of, well, damn, I was kind of selfish because at this point, parents have remarried. I've got siblings and things that you have to teach children who are only children how to share things has now become a thing. And now I'm acutely aware of how selfish I was. And I'm like, don't want to be reminded of that. And Predator became a tether to a moment where I was like, I don't want to be reminded of how selfish I was in that moment. So I don't like this. I don't want to watch it. And so then when I finally sat down and I said, well, let me watch this whole thing. That was when I fell in love with it. And for all the reasons that Chris, you brought up and that Blake brought up. Even further, I actually went and I looked up what Roger Ebert said about it in the 80s. And you figure, okay, this was that dude in the 80s reviewing films. Ebert gave it 3 stars. And one of the things he said about it was that Predator begins like Rambo and ends like Alien. And he said, in today's Hollywood, that's creativity. He goes on to talk about the location and how it was, the location was really, nicely done. He said he's rarely seen a jungle that looked more beautiful or convincing. He gets into the sort of the suspension of disbelief, which is a really interesting thing that I want to get into a little bit later on. But his tone on that he took on this was that if you start to ask too many questions about the logic behind what's going on, it ruins it for you. But if you are distracted by the action, which is typical 80s action movies, then it allows you to enjoy it. And I'll get deeper into that in a bit, but I agree with Ebert's take. Chris, you look like you have thoughts.
I will when we get to that, but I believe, isn't it Devon's turn?
Yes, Devon, please, sir. Your experience with Predator.
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Omar, for sharing that with the group. I feel like I've really come to understand you a little bit better than I did before. And that was very brave of you. You're a very brave young man. Sorry. I'm looking at Chris and trying not to crack up.
I'm listening.
Sorry.
I'm here for you. Yep, I'm here with it, Devon.
But seriously, that was a dope story. So how did I get to Predator? It took about 30 plus years for me to get to Predator. But when I finally did, I had a different reaction to it than probably you two did. I kind of discovered it through the memes that are attached to this thing. Like, I went in cold. I've never really seen any more than a couple of clips of Predator. And I've always heard everyone say, get to the chopper, and didn't know where that came from. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is where get to the chopper comes from. Early on in the movie where Carl Weathers encounters, Dutch for the first time?
Right.
And he walks in and do that whole glistening bicep thing.
The epic handshake.
The handshake. And I'm like, oh, well, that's where that other meme comes from. And after that, in my brain, it just kind of became like a collection of like, oh, well, this is where this comes from. This is where that meme comes from. This is where I ain't got time to bleed comes from. And it's kind of weird in how I'm watching it. It was kind of like the first time that I saw The Exorcist for the first time. Like for decades, everybody had been telling me how scary The Exorcist was. And I watched it. And after that, it just kind of became like a collection of, oh, that's who stole that from this, if that makes any sense to you. And that's kind of what I was going through when I was watching The Predator. Plus, to be honest, as you get older and you become a little bit wiser in the world and maybe a little bit more mature, maybe that hasn't happened to me, but you're sitting there and you're watching it and it's just like, oh my God, this movie is just one big hard on. And somebody managed to write it and put it up on screen and have Arnold Schwarzenegger as the star of it. And okay, let me go back to like browsing through my phone. So yeah, I didn't hate it. I just don't have the 80s hard on for it that a lot of people seem to have for this thing. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like,
right.
That's the thing. I don't begrudge anyone for loving this movie the way that they do. Like, love it. Watch it multiple times. It's just, I didn't love it the way that maybe I love, like, Superman. And that's okay. Okay, somebody say something.
Don't think that you being, real pacifist and new age about this is going to keep us from telling you how damn wrong you is about Predator. Look, you're going to hold this violence, Devon.
Okay. I'm here. I'm here for you, Chris. Bring it.
Chris, would you like to go first, sir? To respond to Mr. Sanders.
Gatorade drinking. So. Wow.
Okay. Just
come on.
Break it down the fourth wall here. All right. I just based on the talent involved in front of the camera and behind the camera, mostly behind the camera. I have to fight against the idea that Predator is juvenile in its execution. Just there's so many just nuanced techniques that are being employed just even within like the first act. Blake was talking about how, when Max stabs Scorpion, boom, instant genre changeover into a horror movie. I would submit that the actual hunting has started as soon as they land in the jungle, because the way that some of the scenes are shot, it seems to be from the Predator's point of view. And like before, like the whole laser vision, heat vision thing, like he's just observing them. And we as an audience along with him are learning about our, quote unquote prey and how they actually tackle this situation. And it is because of the, like, I ain't saying it's, like reinventing the wheel or anything, but it is a bit more sophisticated than, say, fucking Commando. So, yeah, that's part one of my rebuttal. Continue.
Blake, would you like to respond or would you like me?
I'll just throw a couple things in there. I think everyone obviously is entitled to their own opinion. And, some movies are going to resonate with different people. That's just the way the world works. And I love that happens, because then you get to hear everyone's, thought process of what they did like or didn't like. Now, I know for, not an obvious maybe choice of, the type of person maybe who would love this movie. I don't know, but when I'm watching it, there's a couple of things too that really stand out to me. If you dissect some of the core elements of this movie, such as, I think the acting is maybe overlooked. Like Carl Weathers, man, he needed an Oscar nomination. He was incredible. You look at the musical score. This was Alan Silvestri at his best. That score, when you hear the music, right away, okay, this is the Predator theme. It's iconic and it's remembered to this day. Having John McTiernan, he's the director. I mean, everyone goes on to love Die Hard, but this is John McTiernan's like one of his main things that I just first really wrapped me into his world that I loved so much, because he goes on to make a couple of other movies that I really liked, and the creature effects I thought were some of the best practiced effects at the time, you would say. The practical effects were amazing. I just loved them. I actually read something that said, Predator movie facts you might not know. And the special effects team was trying to make the blood from the alien. And they were like, we're going to make this really crazy blood. It's going to look so good. They ended up going and getting glow sticks, kids' glow sticks, and breaking them in half, dripping them on the leaves. And that's how they ended up with that like Mountain Dew green. That was all pre-CGI, right? So you had to go out there and be creative. You had to make it. And I love that. I really love that. All right. I'm over my little rant.
I did not know that about the glow sticks. That is as a nice fun fact. I can understand where Devon is coming from. And agree with everything that everybody else has said, and that everybody's entitled, to what they, what their opinions are. It is tough coming to a film like this, or something that, that is popular enough that there are memes created from it, and coming to it at the end of the movie, so to speak. I had a similar experience with The Godfather. I had the unfortunate experience of seeing The Godfather Part 3 before I seen any other Godfather movie. So The Godfather was ruined for me pretty much from the jump. Saw that in the theater, had never seen Part 1 or Part 2, saw Part 3, and I was like, oh. And so had no interest in seeing anything related to The Godfather. And by the time I got around to actually watching Part 1 and 2, things like Sleeps with the Fishes and The Horse Head in the Bed were memes and tropes that were familiar to me. And much like Devon's experience, I was like, oh, that's where that's from. Oh, that's why they did that. And had a very similar, if people were to come to me and they'd say, well, what do you think about The Godfather? Wasn't it great? And I would say similar reaction that Devon had. Well, it was, I can't love it because I didn't experience it as it was happening or in the correct order. Now, let me flip it. I have had the reverse of that experience as well, which is why I've said, hey, Devon, watch it again, because Dune was a movie that, again, I'm old, that I saw in the theater and didn't understand what was going on, didn't know what was happening. I was like, all I know is that Sting is in it, and that people are yelling at stuff, and that Sting dies in the end. That was pretty much my takeaway. I'm like, I want to go home. I'm out there with my boy, and we watched it because he wanted to see it. And I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. I'm lost. And he was like, just shut up, watch the movie. And I said, okay. And then I got to the end. I was like, man, that was dumb. And so for years, I thought it was dumb. And then I had a coworker who was like, who kept saying, quoting Dune all the time. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And he was like, you've never seen Dune? I was like, yeah, I saw it in the theater. I was like, in that thing where Sting dies in the end? And he goes, no, it's a bit deeper than that. And he said, you should watch it again. And I was like, why? I didn't understand it the first time. He said, do this. He said, go back, but watch it with subtitles. I said, I'm not watching this with subtitles. He said, no. Watch it with subtitles, read it, and understand. I went back, I took him on it. I said, okay, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna watch this with subtitles. I watched Dune that way. And it was like I was like, oh, this is what's going on. Oh, that's what happened. And it was a very different experience to where now Dune is one of my all-time favorite movies because it was like I overcame what was making me not enjoy it in the past. So I've had both experiences where I've come to something late and said, well, I can never really enjoy this because I'm too late to really appreciate it. And all, it's been used up. Where I've also experienced it on the front side, didn't really enjoy it, and came back to really say, well, you know what, let me kind of see what this is, and have ended up enjoying it. So, Devon, I would highly encourage you, man, to take another stab at it, but with it, if it's possible, with fresh eyes to say, all right, I'm going to take away the logic. And the reason I get into, I say it that way is sort of, again, borrowing from Roger Ebert's take, which, is that typical action movie distracts you so that you won't try and reason with it. If you reason with it, you reveal its flaws, and it kind of kills your own entertainment and enjoyment of it. And so Predator to me is a thing that can be appreciated for what it is, not for the logical sense it was never really intended to make. I don't know if does that make sense to you guys? Like, it's, if you try to look at it logically and say, well, this, shouldn't be a thing, then you're never really going to, all of it is illogical, in the grand scheme. An alien comes, from outer space and starts hunting us. All right. If I get too deep into that and start asking questions about that, a guy that big can swing from vines and the vines don't break. You start questioning everything, about it, which takes you out of the suspension of disbelief, which causes you to not really enjoy it for what it is. I think if you go too far into it. So I think if you look at it and say, all right, let me just take all that out of it and just look at it for what it is, maybe you'll have a different experience.
No, I hear what you're saying. I really do. But it's kind of like this. It's like, I'm going to quote from the book of Don Draper right now. I'm not here to tell you about the Predator. He either lives in your heart or he doesn't. He doesn't live in my heart the way that he does with you all. Okay? It's like, I think that we all kind of have this Mandela effect when it comes to the 80s, where it's like, oh, this was a great film. That was an awesome film. It's like, no, you're 13. Everything's awesome. And I like the Predator for what I saw of the Predator, for the 98% of it that I didn't fall in love with. It was just like, okay, well, I'm just kind of here to see this thing that everybody keeps telling me I need to see. But what I kind of discovered when I finished watching it was that we seem to be more in love with the idea of the Predator than with the actual Predator. And that's just my opinion, but that's the way that I feel, is that people love to see like the 7-foot tall creature just ripping through things. You don't even necessarily need a plot. You just need it to rip through things. And as I'm sitting there watching it, I can only hear a certain amount of dialogue that actually made any sort of sense to my quote unquote writer brain. But the rest of it was just like, oh, cliche, 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 cliche. And that's okay for a movie like The Predator. I just didn't experience it in real time like a lot of people did. I experienced it as a man in his 40s who's like, oh, I've seen some things that were a lot better than this. And that's okay. Let my friends have this. But when I wrote the thing on Facebook that brought us to this point where I said, finally watch The Predator, I don't know if it was, I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it was ever good. That's okay.
That's okay. Not letting your friends have this. Just for the record.
Maybe I don't want you to have it.
Exactly, which is my point. It's my issue with you isn't on your opinion on Predator. It's I think it's the contrarian stance that you're determined to take.
No,
and take
it's
away
not a
things that people love.
It's not a contrarian stance when you simply don't like a thing as much as the next person.
I don't like pineapple pizza. That doesn't mean nobody else can have a slice.
Well, more for everybody else, right? That's the way I feel about The Predator.
That's not what you posted. What you posted was this was trash, and I don't know that it was ever any good.
I don't think,
and that's why we all reacted. You were on your Gail Simone energy.
Damn, when did Predator ever save your family, Omar? Damn.
He did come and save my family.
When did he come in and save your orphanage?
He did save my
Predator
orphanage.
2.
That was Predator 2. Yeah. Orphanage. Yeah.
I have a quick point to say in relation to this. I feel what you're saying, and I think that some films almost become like too iconic and copied to the point where these elements become cliche before you see them. You know, what you were saying, Omar, like this is like for me, like the bullet time in The Matrix, where they were using this effect in movies like Shrek, you know, in freaking car commercials. So it becomes stale and it's almost like a joke. But when you first see that in 1999 and it's like the most original thing and fresh thing you've ever seen, that can blow you away when you walk out of the theater. You're like, holy crap, what did I just see? And I think in that way, movies can become a victim of their own success. You know, sometimes, if you're not in that time and space and watching it with those fresh eyes at that exact moment when it comes out and you're taking it in and it's a new thing to you, then your brain kind of interprets it in a different way. You know, also to your point of, you know, referencing everything in the 80s, you know, some people reference the 80s films, like every film from that era was identical. They were, you know, there definitely were some films that don't stand up 30 years later, but many do. We have Die Hard, Top Gun, First Batman, Blade Runner, Indiana Jones. I mean, these movies are more than films. They became templates. You know, some people say like Guardians of the Galaxy is just Indiana Jones in space. So, you know, some people look back and think, I've seen this before. And that's because everyone copied these films in some way. And that's what your brain is kind of saying to you. That's how I feel about it.
Devon, right. Do you have any retorts?
I have no retorts. I have no retorts. I think that she's absolutely correct in what she's saying. A lot of the 80s movies weren't great. And as somebody who comes to a lot of things later than some, I think I can be a little bit more quote unquote discerning in what I'm looking for in a movie. But, you know, to kind of go back to what she was saying about Guardians of the Galaxy, I love that movie just for its 80s-ness. Like, it was just like this kind of like meta commentary of an 80s kid looking at the world through the lens of things that he found awesome. And I think that that's what we're kind of coming at Predator with, where it's like, yeah, this was like a great movie and you can sit there and you can watch it and you can sit there and you can remember the time that you watched it in and how it was like such a good time and how it just seemed like everything was catered for you at that time. But me kind of watching it now, I just kind of was like, oh, yeah, okay. That's what everybody sees in it. For lack of a better term, it's like one of those, and this is me not dogging out this performer, but it's kind of like Lizzo, how everybody's like, Lizzo's the greatest. And I'm like, yeah, I hear why you like her, but, you know, it ain't really my bag. And that's okay. Chris Scott is.
Chris, I'm gonna let you. Yeah, you got that. You got that look.
I'd like to just state on the record that the opinions of Vaughn Sanders do not in any way reflect the other members of the Omar the Barbarian podcast. Don't come at me.
Don't be waiting on my steps with a bat.
About Lizzo. I'm not. Nope.
I ain't say that either.
Peace with the Lizzo clan. No, sir.
I want no smoke. Don't be showing up in Canada sitting on Blake steps. Don't show up in DC coming on to Chris. And please don't show up in Florida looking for me.
I enjoy the flute.
More flute for you then.
So Chris, I want to get your thoughts on what Devon is saying as well, because when he mentioned that, there's this throwback to this nostalgic feeling of good related to the movie. I didn't have that experience. If anything, I look back on it and I didn't want to watch it for years because of the villainous origin story that I had with it that I told you about earlier. So I think I'm more in Devon's camp of it was harder for me to look at it and say, and I had to separate myself from that original memory to be able to look at it and say, does this work for something that I can enjoy based on when it was made and so forth? And I looked at it that way and I said, yeah, this is, I enjoy this. I like this. I'm here for this. But I think, Chris, you had a very different experience. What do you say to somebody like Devon who is looking at it saying, okay, I'm glad y'all feeling it. It's not my bag, and here's why. And I don't know that I could ever enjoy something like this.
Well,
what do you think?
That's not anything to argue against. You can have feelings or non-feelings for the thing. That's cool. But the idea that somehow it's only fueled by the nostalgia of the first experience you had with it, clouding one's viewpoint of it, I'm be honest, a bit insulting. It assumes that one cannot be objective about certain things, like of their own will. And no, I can look at Predator and say, like, hey, yeah, the 80s, the kid side of my head is like, yeah, raw explosions. But the grown up in me is like, no, this is a fucking finely crafted piece of media. No, I'm not poisoned by nostalgia for thinking that. I just like it. So fuck that.
Devon, do you have any retort, any thought to what Mr. Scott has just said? Nothing?
No, he is dumb. That's my retort.
I hate that Chris Scott. He stinks.
His butt stinks.
This episode of the Omar the Barbarian podcast was brought to you by, right? Yeah, no.
Brought to you by Lava Soap. Wash your ass.
Like, look, here's the thing. To quote from the book of Rick James now.
Oh, Lord.
Rick James
give it to me, baby.
No, he did say give it to me, baby, but I'll never give it to you, baby.
It's in his book. Cocaine is a hell of a drug?
No. To quote from the book of Rick James, he said, and I quote, open up your books to chapter Chappelle. He said, y'all really got me up on here talking about how Charlie Murphy beat my ass. Ain't that a B? And that's kind of where I'm at right here, where it's just like, I write a thing where I say, I indulged y'all. I watched The Predator. And I said, I didn't like it. And then now here I am 3 weeks later doing a podcast where they trying to whoop my ass for not liking The Predator. Ain't that a B? And brought help. But I'm okay with that. Because you know what? I might watch The Predator again. Well, not The Predator, but I might watch Predator again.
Don't watch The Predator. Don't do that.
No, I won't do that. I won't watch Alien versus Predator.
Better movie. Better movie.
I don't know what Spectre is just saying wrong shit over there, but no.
No, that's my sidekick.
She came through nice and clear on your new microphone, by the way.
I know. Thank you, brother Chris. Not this one that we're talking to. My actual brother Chris. Shout out to him. What up, little bro? Anyway, but what were we talking about? There's so much going on.
You were saying how how we were coming after you because you indulged us, and how you were innocent, and you just wanted to express your opinion, and how you somehow didn't say that it was trash and that it was never any good.
Yep. Okay. That's all there is to that. This podcast is over with. No, seriously. It's okay. Like today, I sat there and I watched like 4 episodes of Super Friends, which is on HBO Max, by the way. So watch that. it's not good. I'm assigning nostalgia to it. So therefore, it is one of the greatest things that has ever happened. There is some writing in The Predator that I can actually look at and I go, I absolutely see why people love this thing. It is not a terrible movie. It's not a good movie, in my opinion, and that's okay. That's okay. Like, let's all still be friends.
No, I don't know.
Like,
I don't know if we
I
can.
don't know about. I don't know.
I don't want peace. I want problems.
Yeah, I want violence. I choose violence. Yeah, I choose violence.
No, but you know what? I will say this, and I will say this with my whole chest.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I absolutely get why you love this movie, all three of you. Like, the testosterone levels in this thing are like through the roof. It's like Jesse the Body Ventura, Carl Weathers, Shane Black, writer of Tough Guys, is in this thing. Bill Duke is in it. Schwarzenegger, all in their prime, just spouting some of the most dialogue ever. And it's got a 7-foot guy who used to be in Misfits
Harry
Science. Yeah, he was a Harry, and he's coming in there to kill all of these people.
And he's voiced by Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime voices him. There's so much to like about this movie, and the things that I did like were what I was just talking about. It's like, yeah, I totally get why people like this. As I'm sitting there watching it, I'm going, oh, I see why my friends like it. But I just didn't love it as much as some. And that's okay. That's okay.
This is not what you posted, for the record. And this is why we took issue with you. But to your credit, this is also why we have podcast material.
Yes.
So I appreciate it. Now, let me ask you this. Were you posting just to get a reaction? And mission accomplished, if that's the case, because here we are. Or did you genuinely just, when you looked at it, you were like, this isn't any good? Because this feels like very different energy that you're giving me now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Your post was very different than how you are explaining it now. Did you always feel this way when you made the post that got everybody's reaction? Was it the same vibe that you have now? Because it felt very different. The vibe and the energy from the post that I think got me like, really? Was it felt like, I don't think this is any good, and I don't think it's any good for anybody. And that was really what made me want to respond to it more than it was what I'm hearing now, which is, okay, I get what he's saying.
I just looked over at my lawyer and they told me not to answer that question.
They said not to answer that. The lawyer said not to do it. Fair. Gotcha.
Oh my God.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. So many amendments to the Constitution, but you can only choose one. All right.
Yeah.
You plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Five.
I plead the
FIF. Gotcha. All right.
Silliness.
Look, okay, I'll say this. I'll say that my lawyer told me not to say anything. No, I love discussion. I really do. And when I posted what I posted, I had no idea that so many people would get in their feelings.
None.
And it would
you had
lead
no
to
idea that people would respond this way.
Podcast where
You had no clue, Gail. Black Girl Simone. None.
Where
this would be the response.
Where the allied powers of the U.S. and Canada come together for my ass. I had no idea that this would be happening. But you know what? If I can bring people together, then I've done my job.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, Devon, I'm going to thank you for your service, for what you've done for us. Thank you.
You're
for
welcome.
your hot take. I appreciate it.
Fucking
To your
Von
lawyer, I said
Doom
thank you
over
as well. Oh man,
Devon Von Doom. I like that.
You know what? I like that too.
Yeah.
But now
Omar.
Devon has like a tilde.
Right. You were saying, Blake?
I'm saying, Omar, I feel like someone needs to write a screenplay about you becoming a villain based on that fabled popcorn incident. You know, I see The Rock playing you like a jacked up.
Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah. And
The
playing
Pebble.
Omar K. Mills, The Rock. Chris and Devon to hear that. Devon Von Doom and Mr. Scott. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
I won't be able to be told anything for the rest of the day.
Oh, I'm here for that podcast too, by the way.
The Omar the
For when
Villain podcast.
No.
Devon knows way too many stories, Blake. We actually went to high school together. So, yeah, we've known each other since we were about 15 years old. And so he he knows much of the... he's not wrong when he says, how are you not a supervillain? Because there are... I have multiple stories like that growing up. Any final thoughts from any of this distinguished panel? Mr. Scott, any final thoughts on Predator?
It's one of the foundational efforts in a long career of fucking iconic hits. Like John McTiernan has maybe before the prison thing. Look that up on your own time if you want. It's a wild ass ride. He made like maybe 3 bad movies ever, and the rest of them are like eternal classics. Yeah, Hunt for Red October, Die Hard, which was direct like the year after Predator. Like, what kind of fucking 1-2 is that? With Die Hard 3,
Thomas Crown Affair.
Oh my God, he
wow,
did do Thomas
I didn't
Crown.
even know that.
Love it.
So good, so much good, and it the light that it brings into our hearts, this man's collective oeuvre. I can't say that word. I'm sorry. Will blot out the darkness of the opinions of people like Devon and his ilk.
I like that.
I know.
I'm here for that.
That's where I'm at.
Blake, I'm sure you have a
goodness.
thought on this that is much kinder than Mr. Scott. Any final thoughts?
I agree wholeheartedly with everything Chris just said, but definitely, I mean, you can look back at a movie from the 80s, and I mean, I'm not going to name any because I don't want to insult any fandoms here, but there are some great movies where the effects, the music, the acting, they just weren't great. Totally, I get that. But there's a reason people watch, Ghostbusters or Empire Strikes Back or Predator, 30 years later, and they really hold up for people. And I think that it's like a testament to it being something special. So.
All right. Devon, I will give you the final say on this edition of the Omar the Barbarian podcast, sir. What are your final thoughts? Anything for your fans?
My fan. To my fan. No, seriously, it's like I'm glad that we got together and we figured out some things about the Predator. And this is me being like super honest right now. Again, I love that people love the Predator. There's nothing wrong with this. As a matter of fact, when I was on Twitter not too long ago, somebody had this kick-ass idea for Predator sequels. Basically, just make it Predator wrecking shit through history. Predator in the Civil War. Predator versus Nazis. Predator versus anything that kind of sucks. Put the Predator in there and just have him kill it for 2 hours. I don't need dialogue. I don't need story structure. I just need a 7-foot-tall alien ripping through shit. And that's okay. That's what I want. If anybody else saw like a lot of other things in Predator that I didn't see, I mean, congratulations. I love you for having that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with what anyone takes away from Predator. Thank you very much.
I had a whole lot of "if you like it, I love it" energy to it, and I'm here for it, Devon.
You win, man.
Yeah, if you like it, I love it. I ain't mad. Devon, you held your own. We brought in the big guns to try and take you down, man, and you were still standing. You
Yes,
still
you
you
did.
escaped with the belt. Yeah, you
Yes,
escaped
you
with the
did.
title. You're still going to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's June. SummerSlam. He's still
He's
going.
still going. Yeah, he's
to
still going.
SummerSlam.
Still going to SummerSlam. And you're going in with the title. So I respect it. I respect because we came at you hard, and you survived, sir. So much respect to you.
Does this podcast have enough money to? It doesn't. To put Trouble Man behind it as we go out.
Listen, we
No.
can do that as long as nobody says
No,
anything.
we don't, Omar. Don't get sued.
Don't you have a lawyer? What is your lawyer advice?
That man's lawyer is a screenshot of Matt Murdock from the second season.
Oh god.